Hello, welcome to my house and welcome to my channel. I'm Laura Cepeda and I'm very excited to have all of you like every Wednesday. Look, today I'm going to show you how you can make a blanket like this one. It could be for an amazing piece of decoration for your house or you can make it for your own. I made this blanket with 2 threads of Rio and with the circular needles, and I use a beautiful stitch. You can use it like this for decoration. As I told you, I saw in some of magazines and in some stores of decoration these blankets, and they look amazing. Sometimes they're a little bit expensive, but here I'm going to show you how you can make it by your own and save a little bit of money making this blanket for you. You can make it with the material that you want and of course to the size that you need. In this case, I'm going to show you how I make it with the material that I use and which stitch I use for this blanket. Okay, I think that this material is perfect because it's light and it perfectly covered for these cold days. Okay, well, let's start right away. I'm going to give you the material list and then I will give you the step by step. In just 20 minutes you are going to learn how to make this beautiful blanket. So let's start. Well, for this blanket we are going to need 1 kilogram of Rio. So each skein of yarn has 100 grams, so I have 10. And I'm going to knit this with the circular needles of 5.5 millimeters. Okay, I will show you how we are going to make it, and if you want to buy the same materials, here I will leave all the information. Remember that if you want to buy and use the same materials that I use in all my videos, you can visit my online store www.lauracepeda.es. Hello, I have a big announcement to make. I want to share with all of you that now you can download and you can buy all my magazines in this new app of My Ideas. Just you have to download the app of My Ideas and there you can find all the different numbers and all the different volumes that I have made with this amazing editorial. You will see that these amazing magazines are so easy to follow. Remember that these magazines are written by me and I share all the diagrams so you can follow and clearly make these amazing projects with me. So please don't miss it and download all the magazines. Well, with 2 threads and with our pair of needles, we are going to start casting on. Okay, so we are going to take 1 thread from each skein of yarn. So like this is how we are going to cast on. If this is the first time you are casting on with circular needles, here I will show you how we are going to make it. I know that there are a lot of different ways of how you can cast on, but this is a way that I found and that my mom teach me, and I think it's very easy. And also with this you are not going to have any material left. You are going to use the exact amount of yarn that you need when you cast on. So like this is how you are going to take the stitches. We are going to cast on 185 stitches, so be careful, always put your thread over the needle, and like this is how we are going to cast on. And now for the first row we are going to knit rib stitch. Okay, it's like this. We are going to knit 2 and then we are going to purl 2. If you are going to purl, it means that you are going to put the threads in front of you. If you are going to knit, it means that you are going to take the thread from behind. So we are going to knit 2 and purl 2, and this is the rib stitch. Like this is how we are going to continue the whole row. And also remember not to tie too much. I didn't tell you before, but we use the circular needles because we are going to knit a lot of stitches. So that's why we use these circular needles and it will be easier. To start, pass the first stitch and then we are going to continue as it goes. In this case, we have this thread in front, so it means that we are going to pour. Then, as you can see, in the next we are going to knit and then we are going to pour two. So we are going to continue like this until we have 10 rows of ribbed stitch. Okay, so let's continue. Well, when we finish the 10 rows of ribbed stitch, now we are going to continue with the other stitch that we are going to use for the rest of our blanket. In each side of the blanket, we are going to leave 12 stitches and we are going to knit rib stitch. This will be the edge of our blanket. So we are going to repeat the same stitch, the rib stitch, for the first 12 stitches of our blanket. Remember that we are going to repeat this for the last 12 of the other side. Look, here I finished the first 12. Remember that it will be as it goes. When it's pour, you are going to pour, and where you knit, you are going to knit. You are going to count at 6, 8, 10, and 12. Then to continue with the rest of the blanket, we are going to start knitting. Then we are going to pour, knit, pour, and knit. And like this until we have the last 12 stitches to make the rib stitch. So remember, we are going to continue. We are going to knit one and then pour one, knit, pour, and like this. At the end, we will finish with the last 12 making rib stitch at the beginning and at the end. For the next row after the 12 rib stitches, we are going to continue knitting. In this row, we are not going to make pour. For now, I'm going to make the first 12 rib stitches and see you when I finish this part. So look, here I finished the 12 rib stitches. Remember that we are going to make this at the beginning and at the end of each row. And then remember that we knit, we pour. We knit, we pour, and then in the last row we just knit after the first 12 rib stitches. So now we are going to repeat the first row. We are going to knit, pour one, knit one, pour one, and like this until we arrive until the last rib stitches. So from now on, here where is this tip of this thread, we are going to knit, pour one, and knit and pour one. Then we are going to come back and knitting, and then when we arrive here again, we are going to knit, pour one, always taking into account the first and the last 12 rib stitches. Well, look, I get ahead and look how it looks from the right side and from the wrong side. So remember that in this side we are going to knit all the stitches, and in the right side we are going to knit one and pour one, knit one and pour one. Look, you must have these little pleats in between. So look at this stitch. It's nice, right? You can use this stitch for another project too. So we are going to continue as many rows as you need. In this case, I almost finished all the tiny skein of yarns, and look here, I put the marker where I started with the next skein of yarn. But when you have less than the half of the last skein of yarn, well, you are going to save this material to make the last row of the edge. Remember that at the end we will repeat the rib stitch. Remember that I made 10 rows of rib stitch, and remember that also in each side we rib knitted 12 stitches, so it will look like this. Remember that in each side we leave 12, and you will have something like this. Remember that we are going to continue, and when we see that we have the less than the half of the last skein of yarn, we are going to stop there to make the 10 rows of rib stitch. Well, look, here I get ahead, and here is where I take again my stitches and I knit 2, then purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, and like this for 10 rows more. Remember that we made the same number of rows at the beginning. Well, after these rows, we are going to bind off. We are going to bind off like this. We are going to take 2, knit, and come back with 1. And again, take 2, knit, and come back with 1. And like this until we finish all the stitches. Okay, remember not to tie too much while you are making this. At the end, when we just have one stitch left, well, we are going to knit and pull the last thread. Then we are going to hide this thread with our hook through all this project, and with this we'll be finished. Okay, remember not to tie too much, and we are not going to iron this project. Like this, it's more than ready. Now let's see how it looks. Well, so what do you think? As you could see, this project is easy and fast. You can mix materials and you can make it in different colors too, and you can make it bigger or a little bit smaller according for what do you want this project. Okay, remember that it's up to you. This is just an idea. This is the perfect opportunity to work in your creativity. Okay, so this is a challenge for you. Please, if you make this project, take a picture and tag me. I love when you share your projects with me. Okay, I saw this idea in one of the stores that I went the other day, and it was so expensive. So I'm sure that if you make it, you are going to expend less than it really costs. Okay, so please make it. Take the risk. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for watching all my videos, and remember that if you have an idea, you can share it with me. Thank you, and see you the next Wednesday. Bye!